Meeple Talk! Hello everyone, I am Stephanie.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome to Meeple Talk. So this week we have got Clank.
Clank.
It's a later 2016 edition from Direwolf and Renegade as the publishers.
Yes, so this game is all about thieves going down into a dungeon where a dragon lives, and your goal is to get out with loot and not die and get out first and have the most loot. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, I was just going to say, and these thieves, they're absolutely horrible in the sense that they're either really, really clumsy or too greedy because they're going to be making a lot of noise along the way.
A lot of clanking
Clank,
noise.
clank, clank.
That's the name. Yes.
You don't want to wake the dragon.
So let's take a look at the game and see how it works.
Check it out. Okay, so let's have a look at this overall board. So as you can see, it's a pretty elaborate one. I mean, not too many components, but just really thoroughly designed here. It's going to represent the Dragon's Keep. You've got your upper ground area, which is the main keep, and then finally the tunnels below. Everyone's got their own little meeple, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be traveling along these tunnels, some which are free-flowing, some may have different obstacles or one-directional indicators on it. You're going to try to move along, gathering either artifacts. You've got your minor secrets and major secrets. Also, in the market here, you have the ability to purchase some extra enhancements, whether it's for movement, whether it's for carrying capacity, or even just victory points as well. Your overall goal is you're going to try to accumulate as many victory points with the items that you collect, but of course, you are going to be making noise as you do so. And that's what these cubes are going to be representing. Everyone has their own Clank cube, so the more noise you make, whether it's from your theft or the cards that you play, these cubes are going to represent your noise, which are then going to turn into, with this Master Dragon bag and the Dragon cubes, it's now going to come in to be drawn, and this is also going to represent your likelihood or ability to get injured from the dragon by disrupting her. As the dragon moves along, this is the dragon piece, who's going to be moving along the rage track. Her name is Nikki, so say hello. As you accumulate damage, you now have your health meter as well, which is going to be accumulating damage based on the cubes drawn of your color. Now, the actual movement itself within the dungeon or within the lair, all that's going to be controlled by these cards. You've got your first base deck in your hand. You've got your starter hand, but also you can purchase extra cards either from the reserve deck or from the dungeon deck as well. They may add to things like your movements, certain bonuses you'll get or recurring benefits you're going to get. And they can be purchased either with what we call the skill, which is the currency is going to be used for the deck itself. And then also coins. You may earn coins along the way. That's the last component there. This is going to be your currency for specifically the market pieces. So overall, that is the setup.
So for the game itself, all of the players will start at the very top of the keep. And their main goal is to get to the underground, to grab at least one artifact, and to get out of the underground. Now, any players who can escape the underground, they will lose all of their points. So basically, they can't possibly win. Now, reasons why you may not escape the underground. Number one, your health meter will go to 0 while you're still in the underground. So that means the dragon has eaten you. The other possibility is that some player will get out and get to the top, and then the countdown timer will start. Then that player will move along the countdown timer, and then after the 5th space, the game is over. So if anyone is still stuck underground when the game ends, they also will get no points. So at a certain point in the game, you may either say, well, I have a lot of damage, I need to get out of here before it's too late, or someone's getting to the top, I'm running out of time, I need to get out of here before it's too late. So it's it causes a lot of tension in the game as the dragon moves along the rage track and people are taking more and more damage. So for each player's turn, because this is a deck management game, you'll be drawing cards, discarding, and reshuffling. And as you get new cards, those cards will come into play. So, for example, a player will draw 5 cards. And based on the different symbols, maybe I'll do it this way. Based on the symbols that are available, they can do different things. Here are 2 swords they can use to take out some monsters that are cards here. And then also that will help you to avoid damage going through the tunnels. The skills will allow you to purchase cards, as Stephanie mentioned, and the boots allow you to move. So players can do things in any order, buying cards as well, using their skill. And after they've expended all those cards, they will discard them into their discard deck. Then the next player, in turn, will go around, and players will continue to take their turn going around until the game ends or everyone is knocked out.
So, you know what the weird thing is
What's
I found
that?
about this game? Now that we've gone over the overview. I mean, you look at the board, really, really nice artwork. Well, half, I should say. The strange thing is that the board itself, I like the way they do the artwork because as lighthearted or lightly illustrated as this, it doesn't look too overly kiddish. And also, too, the cards themselves are really interesting to look at. I love the artwork. But the weird thing about it is, and this is why I gave it kind of like a is that the actual front art doesn't look anything like what is in the game. And at first, when I would see this, I almost immediately passed over in the sense that the background looks very, very different. Almost the illustration is very muted, almost like it's just a background image and nothing to really strike out. And so at first, when it comes to maybe an opening marketability, that may be a little bit of a weakness that may have prevented some people to really pick up the box and look at it. But once you actually open it up, is it ever neat with some of the little details? Like the little meeples, like they're uniquely shaped. They all got their different little bits of different shaped swords and whatnot. Very unique. I like the way they play. It's not just the same kind of hex games or they're all hexes or artifacts or certain one type of shape. They play with different sizes and shapes and dimensions that give a little bit of life to the board. We didn't show the opposite side, but they have an A side and B side, daylight and then the eerie looking red night, or fiery sky as they show it, which has a little bit, not necessarily a harder board, but just a different kind of layout to plan out with. So, the way they design the components is really, really nice. And I like the deck. And I know I picked it up earlier just to show, but if you had a chance to really look at the artwork, really skillfully done. They look like some other decks that you may be used to, it just in that style. But it's like, this part is very mature feeling, as though, even though it's an adventurous kind of lighthearted feeling kind of theme, they do bring a level of maturity that doesn't really drawn to this idea of, it's just kind of like a kiddish looking game. But that's just the art. I don't know if you have opinions, you want to get them now, but that's just the art part. The play, it's nice too, because even though it's advertised as a deck building game, it's not just playing with the deck. It is a full board game. And I like the way that they use the deck to influence the movement, influence the skills that you use, or your level of ability to either make, win in your combats or move through passages and whatnot. I feel like they really used it well. It didn't seem like a gimmick as an alternative to just dice. And so I think it's a really well thought out game. And I had pleasure, playing this game. We haven't played that many times, so I couldn't really talk to the long-term replayability. I think it has a lot of potential because I like the A side and B sides. But really, it's just, I guess it depends if you like deck games or board games, whether you want to try this blend. I think is a good one to try.
Yes. I'm with her in all of her comments. What I'll say is, I also love the art, and I also like the fact that they didn't go too kiddish, but they didn't go too serious. It's like the artwork is just perfect for this game.
Yeah.
I like how the board is very easy to read. This game is a lot of fun in the sense that when you play your 5 cards, you can play them in any way you want. You can do your movement first. You can buy cards first. You can buy some cards and do some movement and then buy some more cards. Pick up some different items. There's a lot of items that are question marks, so you don't know what you're going to get. There are passages that you can't get through unless you have a key. You can pick up a second artifact if you have a bag. But then you have to get to the marketplace. And then all of this happens within an environment where as the game progresses, it becomes more and more imperative for you to get out. So, you're thinking, should I go deeper in the dungeon and get this really valuable artifact, or should I just get the hell out of there while I still can? So that's a really neat mechanic, and it affects all of the players, and it makes the game a very social game, even though you're not really having much effect on other players in terms of, how you can, prevent them from getting more points. There are certain things you can take from them or get there first, that sort of thing. But overall, you're all separately trying to get in and grab loot and come out. But the mechanism is very, very clever because as you start with a certain number of black dragon tokens, of dragon cubes in this bag, but what happens is they come out as the dragon attacks. Some of them come out, and then as the dragon attacks again, some more come out, and pretty soon there's no black tokens left, no black cubes, so now every player is going to take damage. So towards the end, you really need to get out, or you might, 4 cubes might get pulled in one dragon attack that are all yours. That actually happened to me in the first game. I managed to get out of the lower area, so I still scored points, but I came in third because all the other players got all the way to the roof and got the extra 20 victory points.
And I was just going to say, and what you were saying perfectly captures that in the sense that the deck, of course, as you build your deck, you're going to be trashing some cards you don't want, but as you build your deck, you think, oh, I'm going to be better in my hands. But the idea of the tension with the Clank cubes and the Dragon cubes is that it really forces you to be selective as to when you make your moves, and you want to, at some point, get to the end of the game. So even though it may seem like your job's getting easier and easier with your collection that you have, it's not going to turn into this, we can just take our time just going around doing whatever we want. You need to then be fearful of this dragon. I think the cubes do a really good job of creating that tension. It is kind of like this segment of, oh no, not one more.
Yes.
So, and I like that. And it really forces it along. And it's good.
Yeah. This game has a lot in it, and the map allows you to do so many different things that I personally think it has a lot of replayability. And what I really like about it, I love games that have strategy, but they're also very social. As opposed to games where there's a lot of strategy, but no one talks at all because they're just busy trying to plot their strategy. This game is very social. And so I think, this really is an experience.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just a board game that you play and say, okay, I played it, you won and I lost, and then you can move on to something else. You're talking about the game afterwards, oh my god, when you got that and so on, and I can't believe I got out in time, and, if I'd only picked up this thing or moved 2 spaces, I could have gotten out and not been killed by the dragon. So it's that sort of game. This game is a really amazing package. Like, everything about it, the art looks great. The user interface, if you're interested in that sort of thing, is very well done. You can read the cards. There's not too much text on the cards. I think it's a great game.
The theme matches the gameplay. It doesn't seem like just a topical skin on it. It works. And so you get into the storyline, you get into the theme. And if you want to play, with your own stories as you go along, you absolutely can. You can also, too, and we haven't really tried this yet, but maybe as a possibility that if you get familiar with the board and you want to change up the paths, why not? Maybe experiment. I don't know if anyone's done this, like flipping them over and just having, maybe doing random placements. Who knows? That may change some things. House rulesing it. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's tried it and wants to give us an opinion, but there's things that you can maybe do to kind of change it up, and I think it's got a lot of variability and a lot of future potential. So I'd say, you know what? Give it a go. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is definitely a very good one, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it from us. So I want to thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.